Welcome to Tea for Two at 2 p.m. for 20 minutes. Today Naomi's not feeling well, so Naomi's not going to be here for Tea for Two today, but I have two really, really special people here with me. So excited. Y'all probably know who they are, maybe. Who are you?
Kegan, co-land steward.
Jarmal, co-land steward.
Yay! Kegan and Jarmal are joining us for Tea for Two today. Our amazing co-land stewards, and we were going to share with you a little bit about reciprocity and what that means to us at SUSU. And so I felt like it would be really wonderful to have Kegan and Jarmal here today because so much of the work that they do at SUSU is centered around and encompasses reciprocity in the ways that they are working on the land and working with all the human and non-human kin here. So it's really great to have y'all here.
Thank you.
Yeah. And we have tea.
We do.
Kegan made us some tea.
Straight from the SUSU Botanica, we have the Radical Love Blend.
My favorite.
Featuring raspberry, nettles, tulsi, rose, oat straw, damiana, hibiscus, hawthorn, passion flower, cinnamon, and vanilla. This is a radical love combination. Oh, there's a beautiful poem. You want to read
A
the poem?
poem? Yeah, read us the poem.
Self-love, community love, collective love, all love, every love. Love is love. One love, divine love, true love, radical love, nirvans, heart healers, adaptogens. You are loved. You are love. You are loved.
Yay. So sweet.
I mean, this time of year, it always feels extra special to be nourished by the plants, and so many of them are sleeping, and you know, the garden has been put to rest. You look out over the field, and it's this whole big circle of straw, and to have the harvest from when everyone was still alive and green in our tea is like a different gratitude than it's cold outside.
Yeah. I feel like that speaks to reciprocity a lot, too, because it's like during the growing season, we get the chance to just like be in the garden and like connect with the plants and build relationship with them and have that like energetic exchange. And like then when you're saying, then we have like the harvest and we dry the plants and we do prayer and ceremony and stuff like that, and then we get to kind of like connect with them in this different way also, and kind of like feel into that energetic medicine in a really like embodied internal way.
Yeah, it's like everything they received throughout the season from the sun, from the soil, all the growing they did, maybe some of the moments that they kind of had to defend or like, you know, figure out through whether it was like a lot of water, an animal passing through, maybe smashing some of it, you know, they probably went through a lot. And now we get to appreciate and be healed by like what they were able to withstand, maybe. Yeah.
Tasting their resilience, eh?
I like that. Yeah.
Hi, Tara. Tara's there.
Oh, nice.
She said hi to us.
Hey, Tara.
What tea are y'all drinking? I want to know what tea everyone over there is drinking. Let's see. Oh, sorry. So, reciprocity. What does reciprocity mean to you? How does that show up in your life and like in your work?
I mean, in this time of big dreaming and planning, you know, we're dreaming about what will sort of emerge from the land here. And so in a spirit of reciprocity, we just had a beautiful meeting yesterday about how we want to take time to listen and allow the land to correct course from any processes that have been disconnected and like caught up in the permitting and the like less human spiritual aspects that are necessary logistics of what we're doing, but to like let there be that spaciousness and listening and like walking on the land. We were doing some last end of season closing up over by the confluence of the two rivers, and like that space has been evolving very much at the speed of trust, like very slowly, and like as we're there, and you know, that has been really beautiful. And to try and hold that energy in that space to these other places that are more on the map and like have more regulatory oversight, but to like not let that dissuade us from the like relational aspect of what we can bring.
Yeah.
It's like, I have to remember, you have to remember, you have to remember for us to be like, oh, let's step back. And like listen and give. And we're building up our compost.
Yeah.
It's critical reciprocity.
Yeah.
Like letting the nourishment go back in that we weren't able to eat, or that, like, hopefully when we have animals, what they eat can be like direct nourishment. And
Yeah, the compost is such a beautiful example, and I'm so excited about it. I've been reading this book that's called, it's like the regenerative, something with the words regenerative and amendment. It's like about fermented soil amendments, and it like goes into like all of this like really cool stuff around making your own garden amendments and ferments and stuff. And it talks about like these like really nourishing ferments that you can make to feed your compost to like help like increase the like biodiversity of all the microbes and stuff in the compost. And so it feels like such a beautiful way to kind of like support that relationship of like abundance and community and connection, and like building this like really rich and nourishing soil that can then like go back onto the earth and like feed all the crops. And we were talking about the composting a little bit last year, because, or not last year, last Tuesday, just around how that idea of reciprocity and just kind of like inviting our CSA members this coming year into like our compost practice, where there will be like, you know, members are like receiving the food from the garden, and then they can like return the compost scraps back to SUSU, and then we can turn those into compost and use those to continue growing food, and just kind of like all the different ways that we give and receive in community. And I think that it's really important to kind of like go deep in our exploration around like what reciprocity means for us, which is really important to SUSU because that's like the core of what our organization is about. But I think there's so many ways that we provide really abundant like intergenerational wealth that goes beyond capitalism, and I think that that is like a really good example of that, because it's like, in order to grow the food that we need to grow, we need really nourishing soil, and in order to build nourishing soil, we need those scraps. And so for our community members to be, you know, receiving these boxes and then giving us back the scraps so that we can continue to build really nourishing soil is like has such a huge impact on the community and the land, and just goes like continually in that way. And so it's just like really beautiful how many ways I think there are for us to kind of like be in that kind of like give and take relationship in ways that feels good and possible for us, and isn't like a bunch of extra labor that we don't have like space to do.
And upping my skills on compost, there's some really great videos offered by some of the Vermont Composting Association is working with us, with Athena and those crew. I was watching those videos, and there is an amount of labor that feels like our body reciprocity. Like Jarmal and I do a lot of the like physical turning of earth here, and that the compost needs that air, like needs someone to tend it and to like steward it and give it that air and give it water if it's too dry, or cover it up if it's too wet, and that like the ecology of the microorganisms can be left to its own devices and will move at its own time, but to be in like relationship and tending, like allows that community to thrive significantly more in relationship to how often like someone is engaged in that that turning in that work and that paying attention to details.
Yeah.
That's a lot of what the land shows me about reciprocity, is that it's so much bigger than an individual, and it's so easy to like get the pressure of like I need to do a thing to like meet a deadline to, you know, and I think you said that earlier, like you got to step back sometimes, and it's really humbling because you realize like we're all connected, we're all one. So if I'm okay, or if I'm like doing what I think I should be doing, but my teammate or my community, you know, they don't have like that energy, you feel that. So that tending, that like doing the labor to help the other aspects, you know, of, you know, you talk about compost, but I don't know, reciprocity just always brings my mind back to like, it's bigger than you, you know. Try not to focus so much on yourself and find the joy in seeing, you know, other people smile and seeing joy in other people, because like that's a gift too, to see other people happy and fed and you know, have connection and be in community and laugh and, you know, just enjoy each other's company. You know, that's yeah, a big part of what I see every day, just with the trees, like the rain right now. You know, it's causing me to pause and not, you know, jump right back outside and go do a bunch of stuff. So it's good. We're doing tea for 3. So.
I'm curious also about, you know, and I don't know if you could like feel comfortable sharing this, so if not, that's okay too, but I was thinking about like during the season and some of the kind of like just like ritual or practice that seemed to happen for you, just like in your regular work life around offerings to the land, just like from your physical body that would just happen with like blood and stuff like that, and just how kind of like I'd love to hear if you want to share some of that as it relates to like reciprocity and relationship with your work.
Yeah, it was all new. It was learning for me. It was it was the ancestors speaking, and I made a decision to listen because I didn't get it. And when Kegan, you know, had these beautiful connections to Yolanda and Lupita, that was the first moment I realized. I was like, oh, my ancestors said, no, this is good. You know, you were asked to, you know, bring these pieces of wood to make them a certain size. And you so happened to, you know, get a slice, and I had blood, and I didn't get it at first. And I think that it took just being in ceremony for that duration of time, that week, and just being with that and sitting with that and just realizing how powerful plasma or the plasma or blood is. It's our DNA is in there, our ancestral stories, our generations past and present exist in that. You know, it's a code. It's like a way of communication. You know, blood has a lot of information in it, and when we had the honor of hosting, you know, 80-something kids from BAMS in Brattleboro, it happened again. But at that point, that was the, like, I can't even remember which one it is now. You probably can't see it, but because it healed up so well. But it was very, very deep from my axe, and it bled a lot. And that was the day that, again, we had 82 students from the middle school show up, and I knew right away. I was like, oh, you're speaking. You're letting me know, like, this is a powerful connection that you're being privileged to be able to have with the youth that are coming up, and they get to come here, they get to see, they get to be. And I won't go into the whole story because that's for me in a sense in my journey, but these young folks took it upon themselves and went back to school during their lunch break, and they wrote a handwritten letter, like a bunch of them, and the teacher didn't ask them to do it. No one instructed them to do it. They did it out of their own like spirit, their own heart, and they wrote us a letter at SUSU and really said a lot about how they appreciated being here and really appreciated the different stations we had and the connections and the conversations that they were able to be a part of or observe. And I just kind of just went back into my like, oh, you know, because that connection to youth here, and belonging to land, like that hit me deep. That's what burns. That's what my passion burns for, is to, you know, be a model or a role model for the youth. Kind of just being the person that I wish I had when I was their age. So I find that value in like really living into that. So that's a little bit about that. A lot of bit about that.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So much of what we got to offer with Yolanda and Lupita between the various community offerings was a lot of our staff, like deepening that honoring of the land and taking a moment to really like sing and make various offerings in different specific locations and like set some of that like core introduction work with the place. And that was really nourishing for me,
So
and that
nourishing.
reciprocity, right? Like the
Yeah.
getting to know, and like on multiple occasions, because we had another offering in the spring that was a big asking around water and like making space to like show up spiritually to let the land direct us.
Yeah. Can you share who Yolanda and Lupita are? Just in
Sure,
case some folks don't know.
absolutely. Yeah, so Yolanda and Lupita are two amazing women and teachers, traditional Mexica practitioners of many different healing modalities, and they're dancers, which is an important distinction. They're actively dancing in their communities in spirit. And so they came from Mexico, from the like Cuernavaca area. They have a specific piece of land, and worked with our community in our own, like acknowledging the land, and then worked in larger ceremonies around like our own like honoring of our inner children, like finding direction and finding balance, working with the cacao medicine. It was a beautiful reciprocity. They loved the experiences here working with us, and they loved, I loved being in community with SUSU. I'll be going there again. I've been going and sharing ceremony with them for 5 years now. So I'll be going to Mexico to support their ceremonies this March, which is really important. The reciprocity, the like I show up and carry wood and cook food there and do all that there, and then they come here and they share what they have, and you know.
Yeah, I just remembered a really funny moment with them where they were, we were setting up the event tent for, like, the cacao ceremony or something, and Yolanda was asking if we had, like, a broom or something to sweep the floor, and I brought out our, like, cordless vacuum.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, what? And they were like, we're learning so much for you. We need some of this technology where we live. This is perfect. And it was just, like, funny. We were talking about, like, Afrofuturism and the, like, melding of just, like, indigenous practice with, like, technology and, like, how those things can work together. And
well, in that week too, we ran out of fuel for all of our like our Polaris and our tractor, and they laughed. They were like, "Well, yeah, you got to carry everything up the mountain. That's what we're used to, you know? Like the car didn't make it up there for the first 3 years."
yeah.
And so we were carrying everything all around the land. I really loved that, you know.
Yeah.
And then we had fuel when we had guests, and we could like take folks that had the mobility challenges. But when we were like setting it up, we all have that health right now that we can carry the things, and to be able to be like giving it when we have it.
Yeah.
And then like being gifted with assistance when we don't have it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
So
100%.
good.
Yeah.
I want to see I see some comments in here. Oh, we have some stuff about, I can't read this far away now. My eyes. Cowboy Kiss Ass says, Kegan, your shirt is brilliant. So brilliant. I'm enjoying a cleansing tea with dandelion root. Ooh, that sounds so good, Tara. I love dandelion root. Also, yes, compost. Compost is the best poetry I know. For
Ooh.
sure.
Compost says poetry. We did a mural with the kids at my old job on our compost bin. We could do a cool like compost poetry mural.
Ooh.
Yeah, on the bins. Let's make them
Yeah.
beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Saskia! Yay! Haven't seen you in forever. Thanks. We like our golden sparkles too. It makes us feel like we're at a party. Yeah, well, this is really awesome. We have, I don't know if some of y'all follow our newsletter, but we're going to be sending out a ritual this week that is centered around reciprocity for folks to practice if you want, and it kind of like goes into kind of like a artistic embodied practice around receiving and giving. And I'm not going to tell you what it is because you have to read the newsletter, haha. So that is an offering that we can share with y'all. And I know that this kind of like month we're doing Tea for Twos, and we're talking about different kind of like aspects of SUSU that are really important to us around the ideas of reciprocity and abundance and community. And so today we're talking about reciprocity. We have in our bio a link that you can go to donate to SUSU. Right now is the time where we are kind of like preparing for the 2023 farming year. And last year we did a really big like Give Black campaign, and it was so much fun, and we had so much like fun connecting with all the people through that. And this year we've been so focused on building relationships with each other and really like building kind of like the foundations of SUSU so that we can like invite all of y'all here to spend time with us in the next season in a nourishing way. So we haven't been as focused on like doing like a big fundraising campaign thing, but we still need support, and we love all y'all who have the means to support us, so please do that if you can. And if you can't, then keep joining us and hanging out with us and sharing about your tea, because we love to hear it. Do you have other stuff y'all want to share before we close? It's so great to have you both here, because I think you just like Kegan and Jarmal do so much incredible work at SUSU, and I think like Kegan has shared before just around how some of the aspects of like co-land stewards aren't always like noticed or seen. Like I think you gave the example once around like all of the like work and labor that's put into like making sure we have the right salt for the ground so that nobody slips and falls.
The not salt.
Yeah, the not salt. Mm-hmm. So nobody slips and falls on the ground when they come to SUSU, and it's like no one ever thinks about that, maybe because you're not slipping and falling here, but like in order for that kind of like beautiful protective labor to happen, like there's so much work behind the scenes that is happening to create like a safer space for folks to come, and Kegan and Jarmal are a huge part of that. So I'm really excited that y'all are both here and get to see all of our friends, because
and our whole team. Our whole team are doing a lot of work that's hidden and it's not seen,
It's true.
You and Naomi do a lot of work on the computer, and just like with the salt thing, there was a lot of energy output from Kegan to like find the stuff that's not going to contaminate the soil so we can grow food and the animals and the kids.
Yeah, the whole like talk about the compost ecology, right? The like ecology of our soil, and how in our respect of this land, Jarmal and I are showing up for more labor, because it takes more labor to do snow removal and keeping things safe in the winter without using salt. And the product we are using, which if folks are like, what is this product? CMA, as like a primary ingredient, is more expensive. And so like we're allocating budget to get this product that is able to be safer for the animals, like Jarmal said. And so it's like we're making sacrifices in other ways to make sure that we're able to have discernment in what we put into the earth, if we're asking the earth to give us back the best that she can give us. So it's all part of it.
For sure.
And so like to have the money to buy the fancy thing, right, that's a lot of work that y'all are part of, and Aslan and Ashley and Naomi, everyone's doing a part for something as simple as
the salt.
The not salt.
The not salt. It's not salt.
De-icer.
And also, y'all, for people who are like not salting your own walkways and stuff like that, Kegan has been building this really beautiful spreadsheet that like
Seriously.
goes through all of the different products you can put on your like ground, and also like the impacts on not just like plants or not just like animals and humans, but also like plants, because
The soil, yeah.
you know that affects the ways that our plants grow and stuff if you're growing food at your house. So if folks are interested in that resource, we're like always trying to kind of like go slow and intentionally, and just really like create resources of like as we go through our own process at SUSU and learn things, just like documenting that so that we can share it with other people to be able to easily access that information. So if y'all have questions about stuff like that or other things that you really want to know about, maybe we're going through that process and we can make sure we take extra care and attention to like kind of like put those resources together so we can share them with other people too.
And if you have resources, if you've done the research on a particular small aspect of how to be respectful in reciprocity with the earth, share it.
Yes.
We'll let her know what you know, and we'll share what we know.
So
Yay!
good. Healing.
Thank you both for joining T for 2 plus 1.
T for 3.
T for 3.
T for 3.
All right.
Thanks, everybody. I hope to see y'all next week. Next week, we're going to talk about another fun thing, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. You have to join next week. Bye. Enjoy the rest of your day. See if I can figure out how to end this. Nope. Oh, God.
An X right there at the top, I believe.
I pressed the X. It's not working. Okay, yeah, it is.